Thursday marked the 80th anniversary of D-Day, when Allied forces landed in Normandy in northern France and began their successful push to defeat Nazi Germany in World War II. David Martin takes us back to a moment just before the invasion, a time when victory was anything but certain.
On the eve of battle, General Dwight Eisenhower spent the remaining hours of daylight with the paratroopers who were about to jump behind German lines into occupied France. A single moment captured by an Army photographer became the most enduring image of America's greatest military operation.
It's one of those images that just causes you to pause. There's clearly something going on, there's conversation, but we don't know what it is, and it invites us in.
James Ginther is the archivist of the Eisenhower Library in Abilene, Kansas, where a cutout of the famous photo has been turned into a selfie station.
What makes this picture so iconic is that it perfectly captures all that was at stake on D-Day. The burden of command, the lives, and the balance. And the more you learn about this picture, the more perfect it becomes. Why did he think it was important to visit the troops?
Because wars aren't won by armies, they're won by individual soldiers. And he knew the value of that.
I was very young. It was my 22nd birthday.
Wallace Strobel, the soldier in the helmet, has since passed away, but he recalled his brief encounter with Eisenhower in a 1994 interview with CBS News.
We were really ready to go. We were all set. We had everything loaded. And someone came running down the street and said, "Eisenhower's here." Well, everybody kind of said, so what? We have more important things.
Nobody snapped to attention or fell into formation.
You could hear the excitement as he came closer, so then we turned and kind of looked out, and then he came over. And at that point, he stopped in front of me.
He's got 2 million people he's sending into battle.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think he chooses the paratroopers?
Because they're the key to the whole operation.
The Germans had flooded the areas behind the beaches, and the paratroopers were to jump in ahead of the main landing force to seize the causeways leading inland. Strobel's mission was to knock out the German guns that could turn those causeways into shooting galleries.
They emphasized the fact, now, if you don't get those guns out by H hour, the whole damn invasion is going to fail.
What Strobel didn't know was that this letter, stamped bigot, had landed on Eisenhower's desk.
It stands for British Invasion of German Occupied Territory, and it was higher than a top secret classification.
Air Marshal Trafford Lee Mallory, the officer in charge of the airdrops, wrote, "I am very unhappy about the U.S. airborne operations as now planned," and warned half the 13,000 paratroopers could be lost. In a 1964 interview with Walter Cronkite, Eisenhower recalled what Lee Mallory told him.
He was so sure we were making a bad error that about a day or two before the attack, he came to see me down in my camp down here. And he just, he was really earnest in his recommendations. We must not do it.
It was a call only Eisenhower could make.
This is General Eisenhower's response on the following day.
Delivered by hand, it said, "A strong airborne attack is essential to the whole operation, and it must go on." It was, in Eisenhower's words, a soul-wracking decision. But he gave no hint of that as he mingled with the paratroopers an hour before they were to board their planes. So what exactly did the general say to Lieutenant Strobel?
"Where are you from, Lieutenant?" And I said, "Michigan." He said, Michigan. Oh, yeah, I used to fish there. Great fishing in Michigan."
So in that famous photo,
Mm-hmm.
they're talking about fishing?
That's what Wally Strobel says. They were talking about fishing.
Fishing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That kind of changes my preconceptions of that photo. You look at it and you think he's going, give him hell.
Yes, absolutely.
Maybe he's just going like he's casting.
It was as though he were trying to, he was trying to calm everyone down.
Eisenhower later told Cronkite the paratroopers had tried to put him at ease as well.
They were getting ready, and all camouflaged and their faces blackened and all this. And there they saw me, and of course they'd recognize me. And they said, "Now quit worrying, General. They said, we'll take care of this thing for you." And that kind of thing was a good feeling.
A better feeling the next morning when the main landing force went ashore on the beaches of Normandy. All preliminary reports are satisfactory, Eisenhower cabled in his first dispatch. Airborne formations apparently landed in good order. It was too early to predict success, so Eisenhower closed by saying he had visited the paratroopers the night before, and the light of battle was in their eyes.